Hey, what's good? Leon here. So today I'm gonna show you how to make some R&B drums, kind of hip hop related. It's gonna be a short video, so let's just get right into it. I already have some chords I've played here. What I'm just gonna quickly do is that I'm just gonna duplicate this, so I add like a synth or like a pad just to give it a little bit of fullness to it. Now, with drums, you can literally do whatever you want, whatever sounds good to you. There's not necessarily rules you have to follow, but some things that will help you get started out is number one, I like to start with the snare, and the snare usually goes on the threes. Now, when I say threes, is that think about the beat as numbers, there's bars. For example, this particular song is in 118 BPM, which is the tempo, and then when you count, you're gonna count like this: 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. Now every time you finish the numbers, like 4, that's a bar, and then you start again until 1, that's a bar. So for example, 1 2 3 4 is a bar, 1 2 3 4, another bar. Now the snares usually hit on the 3, so when you count, the number 3 should be where your snare hits. 1 2 3, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. So we're just going to do that. Now I got the snare, I'm just gonna play it on the 3. 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. And now I'm just going to quantize it by pressing Q. By the way, I'm working on Logic Pro, but it applies on every DAW. It does not matter which DAW you're using. Now you can also add other snares in between. For example, I think I'm going to add one here at the end, so it sounds like no, that's not the right one. Over here. And now after that, I can add stuff like the kick or the counter snare, but I'm just gonna keep it fairly simple. I'm gonna add a kick, and then with the kick, as I said, it's just going to start at the 1, and then you can basically do whatever sounds good to you. One thing I also like doing is having double kicks. So instead of, I like to add it twice, so it's gonna be like dum dum ch, dum dum ch, and then I can work around that melody. It just sounds a little bit more fast. It makes the beat not sound like it's too slow. And I'm just gonna highlight them all and press Q to quantize. And since the velocity is different, since I'm playing with the MIDI, I like the velocity of every kick to be the same. I'm just gonna hold Shift Option and right click. And then now you can add a hi-hat. I'll just add a hi-hat right now. Now, sometimes what you may come across when you are putting in hi-hat samples is that it may feel a little bit slower, and if you look over here, there's a little bit of a gap, so meaning that if I play, it's slightly delayed. You may not hear it as you're playing it, but then if you have a bit where everything else is properly aligned in time and you have one thing that's slightly off, you're going to hear that. So to fix that, you can just drag in the start and make sure it starts almost at the same time as the actual sample itself, and just fade it in a little bit. Again, you can do this in any DAW, FL Studio, Ableton. It's basically the same thing. With the hi-hat, you can go fast or go slow, and what I mean is that you can go like or go like half time, just depends on which, like, how fast you want the beat to feel, the groove. For now, I think we're just going to go like double time. We're going to make it fast. So I'm just going to open the MIDI, and then I'll just do this manually. And then I'll just duplicate that. Once you have a pattern like this, it may sound a little bit boring, like nothing is going on, and that's when you add variations like head trills, where they go like, like they go faster in some cases. So just pick out where you want it to be. I'm just going to listen and discover that for myself. I think I'm gonna have it right over here. So I'm just going to zoom in and cut it. Let's do the scissors, cut it. You see? Just to give it a little bit of a groove, but on second thoughts, I think I'm gonna have it somewhere else. Yep. And then another thing I'd like to do is that on the second note, instead of having it as the same tone or as the same key, I like to bring it down, maybe like 2 semitones. It just adds more variation. And then here, I'm also going to do the same thing. I think maybe this one or this one. Let's see. No, I'm just gonna have this one, and then I'm going to do it twice so it's faster. I'm gonna cut it twice. Yep. I'm gonna do the same thing of pitching one of the notes down or some of the notes down like this. As you hear, that sounds much better than it just being the same notes going over and over again. And this is going to be duplicated, so it repeats twice. And now that's when I'd like to add an 808. And then with the 808 usually has to go with the chords that you have. Since it's a melodic element, it has to be in key. Now I'm going to import like an 808. Now this is the 808. This 808 is in the key of C. It's already in the key of C, so I don't need to tune it. If your 808 sample is maybe in the key of D, you might have to tune that depending on the original key that it comes in. Usually the samples are written. This one unfortunately isn't written, but I can hear that when I play C, it plays C. It's already tuned like that. Now what you're going to do is just discover what are the main chords of the piano or whatever you're having as the chords. For example, this first chord is a D minor 7th, so I know that on the piano I'm gonna have to play D. And this one, I believe I played a G7, yeah. So on the piano, I am going to play the G note. That's the root note. And then I'm just gonna keep finding out the next note. I believe this was also A. This one is an A. And this one is a C sharp. So it's going to be D, G, A, and C sharp. In terms of your drums, you could, depending on how complex you want your beat to be or your song to be, you can add more stuff. Like, for example, you can add open heads, like just to add more variations. But then this was like the main chord, the stuff you usually need when you're making drums. You can either keep it like this or just keep going with it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll be making more videos in the upcoming weeks. Thank you.